Welcome back for another episode of Rinks and Realities, powered by the LI Sports Network. Travis Quigley here again with Paul Trentini, my esteemed co-host. And Paul, our guest today, someone we've spoken to before, so happy to speak to him again. Captain of Columbia University, Brandon Avezov. Brandon, thank you for joining us here tonight.
Thank you, guys. Really appreciate you having me on. Super grateful to be here and excited to chat with you and the team and kick things off here.
So, Paul, we'll jump right into it with Brandon here. I mean, take us back. Start of the hockey journey. First threw the skates on. What was it that first attracted you to hockey? Was there a specific person that really first brought you into the game?
Yeah, so to delve into the latter part of that question, the person that brought me into ice hockey was my dad. Both my parents immigrated here from Russia, so I think like hockey was definitely like the one sport I think that my parents had the most exposure to. And for me, I remember, and I still have the same feeling, I really just love being around the rink. I love the game, obviously. I love being part of a team and having something to look forward to each week. I think I started when I was 7, so a bit later than some of my peers in Long Island growing up. But for me, it was less about like, oh, I'm going to make it big. I'm going to go to the NHL, right? And it was more just about enjoying each and every moment on the ice. Something that like my parents always taught me was like, be very grateful that you're able to play, right? Playing the sport is a privilege, and that's something that I carry with me to this day. And the passion has just continued ever since.
Now, you said you just said that like you didn't necessarily have this like goal or drive to like, oh, I'm playing hockey to get to the NHL. Like, could you speak more on that? Like was it really always that kind of like team driven, just like having a good time atmosphere?
Yeah, I mean, I think if you ask my peers here, I think they'll say like I'm pretty competitive, and I know I am. But it wasn't like I wasn't driven to get better or like play at the highest level, right? I'm just saying like that wasn't my driver, my motivator, right? To go show up to the rink and like get better. Definitely, like most kids, my dream was to be in the NHL. But I think over time, my dreams have sort of evolved. Just fast tracking to today, it's more about like, what can I do now? What can I leave behind? And for me, like that's strengthening the Columbia team and creating something lasting that future players can enjoy and have the same opportunities, if not more, hopefully with less hardship as I did.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I think that's a huge part of it is being able, especially when we get to how old we are now, and like you said, coming down to the end of the playing career, it's like, what do we leave behind? How can we continue to contribute and leave a lasting impact? And I mean, obviously, I think we all have had different people leave lasting impacts on our careers. Obviously, you've spoken so highly about your dad, who I've gotten to know pretty well through coming and calling the Columbia hockey games. He always comes over and says hello. He asks how my dad's doing, and we always sit and talk for 5-10 minutes. And it's always great being able to talk with Boris. But was there anyone else besides your dad? Any coaches that really, at a early age, those formative years, say 7 to 12, that really left an impact and helped you further your passion for the game?
Candidly, I don't think anybody comes to mind, right? And I had amazing coaches growing up, but I don't think anybody at that young really like influenced my love for the game or anything significant like that. I think it was more just like my teammates, right? Like I have a lot of teammates from my youth days who I still keep in contact with and who are some of my best friends now. So I think instead of a coach, it would just be my teammates, right? Because I think that's the reason why you play at a young age. It's to like develop the life skills that you'll need later on and just develop relationships and connections along the way.
Now, obviously, I think it's pretty evident that you definitely were at a higher level than a lot of your peers at a younger age, and you were lucky enough to go that juniors route, playing in the NA3HL and the NAL. Do you want to share like your experiences with that kind of surrealness of getting to a level like that?
Yeah. So I guess for context, I had just graduated high school, and it was the COVID year. So at the time, things were pretty uncertain. I remember a lot of kids from my high school were going straight to college, but I knew that I wanted to play in college, and I had heard that the route to kind of do so was to play junior. So I took the leap to play juniors, and looking back now, super fortunate I did. As you mentioned, I started off in the NA3 and transitioned up to the NAL, which was a big step for me. Playing in the NA3, I think it was the Titans' first year that year, and I was given a lot of responsibility as maybe one of the players they trusted more. And I think it was like a really important for my development because I kind of became a leader on a inaugural team, and we did well that year. And then after that season, I was also practicing with the NA team during my NA3 year, and kind of knew that I wanted to take the next step. And so, I ended up making the NA roster, and that was a great team. That team ended up winning the Robertson Cup. Those guys were professionals, some of the best players I've ever played with.
Yeah, so, I mean, I remember, obviously because you're a few years younger than me, and I remember when Craig Doremus first took over at the Titans and made that leap from the old New York Bobcats.
Yeah.
And I remember, it took a few seasons, and Craig really built that Titans program up, and as you just said, had a group of winners in the locker room, and we spoke to Robert Hyde a few weeks ago, who was on the Titans team the following season after they had won. I'm good friends with Chris Carroll, who I know was on that team that won the championship that season, and like you said, it's from everything that I've heard from those two guys, especially that group in that Titans locker room was very tight knit, and that was a big reason why the Robertson Cup was won.
Yeah, and going back to your question about coaches that kind of shaped my career, I would, from 7 to 12, I don't really have any, but Craig was definitely one of them. He kind of taught me how to see the ice from like kind of seeing the ice like this to kind of like seeing the ice like this, right? And like teaching me structure, and I didn't really have that in my game up until that point, right? Like I felt like I was more of a skill player, but I could have been a lot smarter with the puck, and now I feel like a little bit more poised, and I just kind of really attribute my game and my development to him. He was a great coach for me, for sure, and it showed, right? Like there's, I'm sure, lots of testimonies from players that played under Craig that say, yeah, like he was a great coach and he really knew his stuff and he cared about his players.
Yeah, 100%. You're not the only person I've heard that from. I mean, again, going back to his Bobcat days, I mean, I've known Craig for forever. I mean, because of my dad, and like you said, always positive testimonies, always advancing his players to the next level when he was with the Bobcats and with the Titans, and especially at junior hockey. That's what it's always about, is being able to advance your players on, and he always did a very, very good job of that. So, speaking of advancing on, now you're in your college days at Columbia University. I'd like you to talk about, kind of when you first got there, and everything that had happened, and your founding of I almost said CFC. That's my other job, NYCAC.
Yeah. So I had transferred to Columbia in the spring of 2023, and from Stony Brook University. And when I got here, there was just chaos, really. The team had to operate independently for a season. So like we weren't under the Columbia umbrella, and there was some adversity that we had to kind of overcome, where it was kind of just like, do we not play for a single year under the Columbia umbrella, or, can we operate independently, right? So we chose that route with the help of two of my teammates at the time, Rashad Nandan and Michael Amato. We co-founded a independent college team from campus called the New York Collegiate Ice Hockey Club. It was effectively Columbia hockey, but operating under the leadership of 3 players. So, unfortunately, we didn't have access to an allocation. We didn't have access to transportation. Couldn't use the Columbia crown or any logo. It was literally like if you were going to create a team and operate it. So I remember the first game, our jerseys hadn't come in yet. So we were literally using like navy jerseys with numbers on the back while we were waiting for our actual jerseys to arrive. We needed a coach, so my dad ended up coaching for quite a bit of games, and then Evan Chang, who's one of our coaches now, somehow found the team, and we've been so fortunate to have him. That was definitely a tough transition period, right? Because I was still getting used to like Columbia. The academics were certainly challenging, especially my first semester. I was in some pretty challenging classes, so balancing that, operating a team independently, it was a lot, but like something that I'll carry with me forever. And I think it really did give me a new understanding and appreciation for hockey, because it was almost taken away from me and my teammates. For every single game in practice, I lived on 108th at the time. I'd have to run down to 99th Street, pick up a van, drive it to the law school, and go with one of my other teammates to grab the other van, right? Because we had 2 12-passenger vans, go to the law school, where we met everybody and headed off to a practice or the game. But it was just a very busy season. Not many people thought that we were going to have a season, and I don't blame them, right? It's kind of crazy to start your own college team, and we left the ACHA at the time, joined the AAU, right? Just like overall, just so much happening at once, right? And then after that season, looking ahead to last year, we got brought back under the Columbia umbrella. We had a couple guys receive some rewards, picked up some new recruits in Chris Lerner and Rona Robinson, who have been so good for us and huge leaders on our team. We won the Empire Conference, and then we went to the national tournament for the first time, and also nailed by our 2-1 game to South Carolina, who ended up winning the whole thing. So we were so close, and I think from that, we're just looking to build.
I just want to interject and jump back a little bit. One thing that I think is very impressive and worth noting is the fact that you transferred from a school like Stony Brook, which is no easy school by any means, but you go to an Ivy League in Columbia, which is an extremely difficult school, and still take on this challenge of, I'm going to create this hockey team. I'm going to make sure that my peers and classmates have an opportunity to play. It's only running 9 blocks down to grab a van to bus everyone down. I feel like a lot of people in your position would have just folded and would have been like, you know what? I got a lot on my plate right now. I'm not gonna do this. And I just kudos to you. That's very impressive that you were that passionate and driven to get this going.
I appreciate it. I think for me, it's all about my teammates and the culture we have here. Rashab is a huge part of that. He's my best friend, best teammate I've ever had, and just somebody I really look up to. And he had lost a year due to COVID, and he was about to lose another year to this, and he wasn't the only one. There was a couple of other seniors, and he was a huge catalyst, and he helped out a lot. And the same thing with Mike. And I think we did it because we just have a really special group, a really cool culture. We're not an average hockey team if you look at our roster, right? We have Formula 2 drivers, MD, PhD students, masters in all types of different realms and categories, undergraduate students, special operators in the military. We're not really a hockey bro team of a bunch of undergrads that come from junior, right? We're more of an older team, and that culture is just something I really wanted to preserve. Our alumni came to bat for us too. We have a LinkedIn chat, which I try to be pretty active in and give them hopefully always good updates. And I remember telling them, and they had our backs. I think, in total, between like dues and merch stuff and other fundraising initiatives and donations, we raised over $55,000, right? And we didn't, when we first started, I remember like we didn't have the money up front, and we needed to pay like league dues and refs or whatever. So Rashad and I were debating like what do we do? Like we were a couple grand short, and we were like, this is going to sound a bit bizarre, but we were like this close from me going back to Long Island, driving to Atlantic City with him, and just betting it on roulette. We were like, listen, like we've tried so hard, we can't get this money. What the hell are we gonna do, right? And then our alumni came in clutch. Notably Nathan Bram. He was the captain and president many years before me, but he gave for the past 2 years, and I believe before a pretty sizable donation, right? And without him, like we don't have a season. So it's not just him. There's many alumni that also helped out, and parents and family members and stuff like that of players in the team. So yeah, it was definitely a interesting year for sure. But looking back, I think like when kids hit me up on Instagram or they email me, text me, whatever, and they ask me like general questions like, hey, I'm a junior hockey player. I have a couple offers. I'm interested in Columbia. Like, can we chat? And the piece of advice that I give them, unsolicited or not, is always like, go somewhere where you're wanted and where you can make a difference, right? It doesn't have to be, it can be anywhere, right? I'm a big believer in college is what you make of it. You mentioned earlier that we could have just let the team sink, and we could have done that, sure, but it's not the legacy, and amidst the chaos, there's a lot of opportunity, right? So that's kind of where our mind was at, and to these kids, I'm trying to tell them like, no matter where you end up, it's all about what you make of it. We're an entirely student-run operation. If that's something you're looking for, right, Columbia is a great place for that, among many other reasons. And there's other clubs out there that are entirely student-run as well. If you're looking for something where the coaches and the admin have more involvement and you just want to be a player, plenty of schools like that. And I think to add on to that, I lean always towards the sides of like, lots of kids will play their 4 years, right? And then they'll be forgotten. As in like when they graduate, like they won't be remembered, they won't be talked about, they won't leave the program better than they found it, right? But what I try to tell my guys, and something that was told to me, was like, you have a really tremendous opportunity here at Columbia to leave it better than you found it, right? To be remembered after you graduate. It's not going to be easy, but in my opinion, it's been worth it.
Yeah, and I want to touch on something that you said. Is go where you're wanted. You have, especially when you have options like that. Like you said, you've had guys reach out that are playing juniors and clearly show an interest in Columbia. They see what the program's doing and what you guys have built there over the last few seasons. And it's funny you say that. Like I remember this was probably 8-9 months ago. I got a good friend of mine who coaches in junior hockey right now, and one of his players was being recruited by 2 schools. One of them a SUNY, one of them happened to be my alma mater, and he wanted me to speak to his player and just kind of fill him in and give him my opinion, and I did. I was like, I love my school, it's great, but I told him exactly what you just said. Whoever's showing you more desire and more interest, and wherever your heart is at, that's where you got to go. And it's not always going to be the best hockey option, because there's a lot of people who will choose their education, and you're not going to get a much better education than Columbia. Look at a guy like Chris Lerner. He's a guy I know for a fact had Division III looks playing in the EHL, and been killing it for you guys at Columbia.
Yeah, and Chris is a good example. I think Chris is somebody who, when I kind of recruited him here, I had told him, he didn't play too much in the EHL, right? He wasn't like their guy, but I had told him like, when you get here, right, and you put on the uniform, people are going to look up to you because you're such a good hockey player, right? And you're going to play a lot of minutes and you're going to be an impact player. And I think he's a very smart kid because he is like me in this way. And this is not a very popular opinion, but I think a lot of kids put too much emphasis on the label NCAA versus club. And then they make choices to go play at the NCAA Division III level. And when they get there, they realize that like it's not what they imagine it to be. And I've unfortunately had friends go through this where they get there, they get buried the first 2 years, they quit the third and fourth year.
Yep, definitely.
I'm not putting this out there generally. Obviously, everything is very circumstantial, but Chris is a guy who I think we share that common belief, and the same goes for Ronan. Cal, his brother, is here. He's my class. Great family, great players, and I remember when Ronan was talking to a couple schools, he had visited me and Rashaba, and we took him out to lunch, and we just had a conversation with him about like why Columbia. We asked him some pretty tough questions just to see his maturity level, but he passed with flying colors, and like we're so grateful he's here. I mean, you see the kid play; he's unbelievable, right?
Yeah, Ronan's awesome. I mean, I can't say enough good things about the Robinson family. They're like the super fans in the YouTube chat every game. I remember at Nationals, I was so caught off guard that I was like almost rude, but like I was on the air. I was like, it was like a couple minutes into like the second period of your guys' game. I don't even remember. I think it was might have been the game against Rutgers, like the last game of pool play, and Cal and Ronan's grandpa like comes over to me, and like I'm on the air like calling the game, and he's like tapping me on the shoulder, and he's like, "Hey, you do a great job." Like trying to have a conversation with me, and like I had to take the headset off. I was like, "Sir, I'm like on the air," and
yeah.
like it was, excuse me, it was so funny. And like after the game, like I see them in the lobby, the whole Robinson family, and like I'm talking to them. It was like the funniest laugh ever because like at the time I don't realize it's Cal and Ronan's grandpa, and that I'm standing with the whole Robinson family like in a big circle in the lobby of Community First. It was so funny.
Yeah, they're good people, and I think that goes for every single family members that I've met on the team. Actually at the Ivy tournament, one of our newer players, he was a special ops guy, like has incredible life experience, did stand up, special ops, some other stuff. And like, he has a very large family and their family had like read a couple articles about the team, the independent season and whatnot. And his mom went up to me and she said, I just want to thank you for, your work and keeping this program alive. And I was like, what do you mean? And she was like, you don't get it. One of their family friends or somebody went to college and didn't have like this environment, right? Didn't have, this, one practice week that we have to look forward to and 2 games on the weekends, right? So he ended up, going to school and unfortunately like dug himself a hole with substance abuse and alcohol, and then ended up having to leave. And she said that to me, and like I'll never ever forget that. It was just like, I try out the leadership group now, and that's incoming. Is like, this team is so special. You have an opportunity to genuinely change people's lives for the better. It's a privilege. Like, make the most of it. And this is his first year on the team, and like his parents came up to me, his whole family introduced themselves and said these amazing things. So it's really humbling, and they're not the only ones, right? Speaking of super fans, Nick Chang, the Columbia super fan.
It was great to see him put the uniform on and play the other night.
Yeah, and not just him, right? So backtracking a bit, Changer was recruited. I had played in a scrimmage at World Ice 2 years ago before the independent season, and he was just there. And whatever, we play, and then we're in the same locker room, and he asked me, he's like, "Hey, like I see you have, the crown on your helmet. Like, are you a Columbia student?" I'm like, yeah, I am. Like, are you? He's like, yeah. He's like, "Do we have a hockey team?" I'm like, I'm explaining like NYCHC. I'm like, we do, but it's not like officially Columbia, but we're working on it. Um, and he was a practice player that year and last year and this year. It's like, he works really hard. I think he wants to get better, right? Like he'll send me footage of him shooting pucks and of him rollerblading and asking for feedback. And he's at every game, right? He's just a huge part of our team, right? Huge culture fit. Everybody loves him. He's definitely a character, but I think you need guys like that on your team.
Oh, energy guy for sure.
Yeah. And he's not the only one. We have another player, David Gastalum, who is from Mexico. He's Changer's right hand man. They're really good friends, and they're in a unique position where David didn't play his entire life. He's been playing hockey for a little over a year now. Last year was his first year. He didn't have much of the gear. I don't think he knew too much about the sport, but he was somebody who I think has just unparalleled and unmatched work ethic, right? I remember his first time we had a conversation. He's just telling me how passionate he is about the sport with no experience. So ended up giving him some blades, some pair of pants, shoulder pads, and a stick. And the progress that he's made from now till then is insane. Like you watch him in the games now, right? He might not be the most skilled player, the fastest, but when you know his story of like only playing hockey for a year, right? Training his butt off to be in the lineup and play games, it's incredible. And like, it's a privilege to like lead guys like that and have them be on your team, right? So cool with such cool life experiences. I think that's what makes a team special. I don't have enough good things to say about David, Changer, our entire practice squad, about each and every guy on the team. It's just such a unique group, and I think this is the only team I've been on where everybody loves each other. There's no cliques, there's no beef. I think everything is genuine, organic, it's natural, and I'm excited to play my last year here.
I just want to jump back now to what you said earlier about your coach, Evan Chang. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
You said he just happened to. I think your direct words was he somehow found the team.
Yeah. Like literally, NYCHC practice. It was me and an active duty Army Ranger named Johnny Cotton. He was in Teachers College first year and only year playing with the team. Stud hockey player, an amazing guy, and great family. We intended on just kind of running the team ourselves, and my dad would kind of just show up to the rink and meet us there because we needed a coach, and we were trying to figure out what else we were going to do. And so Evan shows up, and I don't think Cully can make it or Tveter. So like we had no goalie on the ice. Everybody's in like mixed match uniforms, and Evan goes on the ice and he's like, "Hey, like what is this? Like this is like the Columbia team." So it turns out that I think one of our alumni or previous coaches had texted Evan like, "Hey, like they're looking for a goalie coach," which I don't know how that came up, but it did. And I think it happened. It was just kind of serendipitous where like I think he was just meant to be. And he helped us out so much. And I don't have enough good things to say about Evan either. Like we wouldn't have a historic run and be where we are today without him.
Do you want to add something, Travis?
I Evan's awesome. I mean, I think Evan, the team, the group, I can just kind of, again, speaking to kind of everything that's kind of going on with what you guys have built there. A lot of unique and different personalities, as you said, for an outsider looking in. I believe the same thing. Everything's organic there. You guys don't force anything. You guys are all having a good time together. You're laughing together. You're smiling. Paul and I say it all the time. Like, probably the only team where like almost everybody comes up before each game and is like, I think the other day, Paul and I are setting up and it's like 15 minutes before puck drop and Ronan's running over and he's like saying, "What's up? How you been?" And I'm like, "Ronan, don't you get a game, man? Like, you start getting dressed."
Yeah. No, it's important. I think as long as I'm here. Maybe it's a bit ambivalent with other programs, but for me, it's like I think because it was almost taken away from me one year, it's like you got to be grateful for literally everything. Like having a broadcast is also, a huge privilege, and like it gives your family members, loved ones, fans access to the games, right? And watching you play, I think it's just something that like, showing gratitude and appreciation, right? Like we had a conversation before about like, I just asked a couple of questions about how you prepare, right? And how you manage to, be on top of everything. You have so many different teams that you guys announce, right? You personally, Travis, right? You're going from rink to rink. I'm sure you're tired. You have a million other things going on, right? So I personally think it's disrespectful if like you come and like, my guys don't say thank you. So, and I also really appreciate when players and anybody and staff members, anybody have really good relationships, right? So that's just one of our values here.
Yeah, we even had like Coley. Like he's not even on the team anymore. He shows up. He's coming over to us. I think after the game, Travis took like a family photo of Nick Chang and like his family because he played in the game. Like we're very much involved.
Yeah, his family flew in from Hong Kong for that game.
That's amazing.
Wow,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's so awesome. Yeah, and like I think kind of that circles back to what you kind of said earlier on. It's like things like that, knowing that you have a little piece in making that happen for Nick Chang and his family. Like that's a really nice piece to leave behind. It shows again just the uniqueness of the group. How you have between Changer from David, who like you said, he's only been playing hockey for a year. So many different types of hockey players, but you're all there because you love two things: you love hockey and you love the Columbia Crown.
Yeah, I would say to add to that, the most important thing is each other.
Yeah.
For me, like I love the van rides the most. Like hockey's great, and I think Troy Daniels has a similar approach where, I don't think he cares if I say this, but he does not like hockey. Like he hates hockey. He does not like hockey. It's no secret to our guys, but he's playing for us for the second year, and if you pay attention, like before the games, he's one of two locations. He's either playing Super Bowl outside or he's doing homework. And I'm right there with him. Like I'm playing Super Bowl, I'm stretching, or I'm doing homework. And I love hockey. Just want to clarify that. Yeah. But and we have the same approach about how much we enjoy the van rides, right? Like we have, Green Berets, we have Navy SEALs, like people who have just like incredible stories, right? It's unfathomable what they've done. And talking to one of our guys this year who is in special forces, like I know something that I'm trying to work on is like, how can I be a better leader, right? Like how can I be the best person I can to lead this team? We've had success, but in full transparency, I'm not content. I want to be the national champions this year. So I'm trying to ask him like, hey, like, what can I do better? You've seen some of the best leaders in the world. What can I do? Like questions like that. And then hearing from his experience, right? It becomes more of like a collaborative and learning environment in the vans. And that goes for everybody. Nick Chang is a PhD student in biology, right? Who would have guessed, right? But the van rides, I think, are like, I would say for the most part, that's like everybody's favorite part. Obviously, the rink is great, but when you drive into the rink or after a big win, there's nothing like just spending time with the guys, learning more about their stories and asking questions.
And I agree with that so much. I look back in junior hockey and college, and some of the best times, best memories, it didn't happen at the rink. It happened on the bus, in a dorm somewhere. Like it was just when the group was together. It wasn't really necessarily when we were out on the ice playing. It was those road trips and those times in the hotel on the weekend, and that's when the real fun is.
Yeah, and it's also a luxury being in New York City. Just recently, like we won the Ivy tournament, and we went out for karaoke to celebrate. I had like a team dinner, and then it went out to karaoke, and it was just so much fun. And like I won't be winning any singing contests. Ronan might actually. He's got
Yeah, Ronan can sing.
I can sing. Yeah.
I heard him sing at what was it? I think it was at Nationals.
Really?
Dos Gatos.
Dos Gatos.
That's right. I don't know if you remember, but Cully also had. I think he sung the Canadian national anthem at a game last year.
Yes, I do remember that. Cully's got some pipes.
Yeah, he's got some pipes for sure. So I think just like being in New York City, you have access to just a city as a whole, right? To explore, have fun, do what you want to do, right? I think that also contributes to why we have a good culture, is because we're able to kind of have some of those experiences as well that has nothing to do with hockey.
Yeah, I mean, I think, like you said, I think that's also like a nice little luxury, is you have the city in your back pocket. It's a nice little added bonus on top of the Ivy League education and the good hockey. So, talk to us a little bit about in the present, how you balance everything, how you balance your Columbia academics, how you balance hockey, and obviously your role in running the club, and then of course your social life being a college student.
Yeah, it's a really good question. It's hard. It's not easy. I think it depends on, the time of the year too, and what's going on. I remember last year, I was recruiting for internships and then full time, right? So that's something that I don't really have to worry about anymore. And last year was definitely really busy and with that lifted, right? And being a senior now, I think I front loaded a lot. So maybe my classes are slightly easier.
Yep.
So I really think it's circumstantial and just depending on what's going on. It definitely gets busy and challenging at times. Sometimes I won't sleep much, and it is what it is, right? Just because I have a lot of things to get done. But I think for me, everything can kind of be boiled down to, I genuinely love this hockey team. I have a vision for it. I'm someone who takes after my parents, who work incredibly hard and have done everything they can for my sister and I. So I always know that if I do my best and I balance my responsibilities, I can do it because they have. And it's not always easy, but it's certainly worth it. And I guess full circle moment here, as what I said earlier, is college is what you make of it.
Now just you also mentioned the Ivy League tournament. You wanted to share just kind of what that was this year, and seems like a really cool experience to have with Columbia.
Yeah, it was unbelievable. I had worked with the e-board at Brown to make this happen. So, kudos to them, and I tip my cap because they also worked really hard to make this happen. I know it's been done in the past before, but this was the first year where we had, every single team locked in except for UPenn. I guess fortunately for us, we beat them last year, first game of the year, 8-7 in overtime thriller, so that was cool. So for the guys that were here last year, we maybe, it sucks not having them in the tournament, but at least we got to play them.
Yep.
And I remember when putting the tournament together, it was all about and Gabe was a huge help in this too, right? But the format that we agreed on was each team will play each other once. The games will be 3 15-minute periods, no ice cut, which is different from the regulation, right, of 3 20-minute periods, right, with ice cuts in between. And so we chose that layout because every team just wanted to play each other, right? And I'm glad that we did. We got to play literally every single team. It was a great experience, and then we ended up winning, right, which was historic for our team, first time in history.
Yeah, I think Paul and I have talked about this. We've kind of talked about this throughout the crew. The concept of it was so cool. Would have been nice to have, obviously, as you mentioned, all of the Ivies there, and hopefully for future iterations, all of the Ivies will be there. But I think that tournament, I think, is something that, as a collective, the Ivy schools can really build into something that holds a lot of weight and prominence. When you're talking about institutions like Columbia, like Harvard, Penn and Brown, that's the highest of standards, you know, and I think those names alone can carry a lot of weight, and I think obviously you guys having success in the Ivy League tournament helps bring eyes from here that might necessarily have known about the Ivy League tournament. Um, and like I said, I think for future runs, it's only going to continue to grow and get better and better.
Yeah, that's the exact goal I have in mind. The way I describe it to Chris, because he'll be potentially taking over the team once I'm gone, is like the way that this tournament was structured and the way we put it together. This is just like the foundation. Now, granted, it was run, in my opinion, very well, very organized, but this was just the foundation, right? There's lots of things we can do to be better, right? I think the most important parts of it being the competition. Like, I know you guys weren't there, but it was good hockey. Each team wanted to win. Like, nobody let their foot off the gas, and I think that's what made it such a good tournament. And also, Brown's campus is beautiful with their own rink, right? So we got to experience that, and I hope it continues. I hope it doesn't stop next year. We're only like 3 or 4 teams go. I like for it to be something like you said, where it happens every year, and each year it gets better and it improves. That's my goal for it.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think the potential is there for it. Like I said, with the institutions, with the success from this season, I believe, like you said, the talent is only growing, and I think all three of us know that the talent is only going to continue to get better and better. Teams are going to continue to get better and better, and I like you believe that that the tournament can really really take off.
Yeah, I hope so, and we'll see what happens next year.
Yeah, definitely, man, definitely. So what you've already kind of mentioned it a little bit, but what are the goals for this season? Columbia now being dual registered, AAU D3 ACHA. What's the goals for the team, and what's the outlook? What are you guys looking forward to, and what are you looking to accomplish?
Yeah, I think I touched on it earlier, but we want to be national champions. That's like the standard for us. Like we were so close last year. I know that this year we have the roster to do it, and like that's the expectation going in. I wasn't happy with last weekend losing to Farmingdale. I know we were out a couple bodies. It sucks not being able to play, but it's no excuse. Like I genuinely expect my guys to come in there with a vengeance and to win every game. So I think like that's the standard that will lead to being the conference champion again, right? And then advancing to the national tournament and then winning that championship. I think apart from just championship stuff like that, I'm looking for guys to get better, right? Like Lucas Murray out of the EHL, he has an opportunity to, like me, coming from junior, shape this team, right? Same with Chris and Ronan, right? It's not easy running the team, and like while I'm here and whatever, and Evan and whoever else, right? Like they get to just kind of focus on hockey, which is great. I'm trying to mentor them and give them the resources and the tools so they know how to operate the team, but it's up to them. Like I'm not going to be doing it next year. It's up to them. So I guess it depends on the player as well, but for the younger guys who are kind of driving the ship, I want them to be good leaders off the ice, because there's a lot of adversity you need to go through. I don't think training is as valuable as willpower, the ability to just want to get things done. So from those select few, I want them to be comfortable off the ice of handling the admin stuff for the team, because there is a lot of work, a lot of stuff that needs to be done. And then on the ice, it depends on the guy, obviously, but I want everybody to just improve their hockey abilities, right? A lot of guys hadn't played in a couple of years. I want them to come back and grow, right? For the guys that have multiple years, use this year, get better as a stepping stone for next year, right? And just in summary, I guess, because it's such a good and loaded question, is just leave the program better than you found it. That would be my kind of advice that I would give to the future leaders of the club.
Now, you shared what your plans are for this season. Now, what are your plans for post-Columbia? Because like you just said, you're not going to be running this team next year. You are trying to mentor everybody. We got hold on, it's like building burning down right now. It's like loud as stuff.
Sorry about that. Yeah, I think it was the fire truck wheeling on Broadway.
City never sleeps, baby.
Never sleeps, man.
I'll re-ask the question. Maybe Wally will just edit that out. But you shared your plans for this season, and you mentioned that you're not going to be a part of the team next year, and you're trying to mentor the younger players like Lerner and Robinson to kind of follow in your footsteps and leave the team in a better way than they found it. So what are your plans once you're done with Columbia?
Yeah, I think for me, it's something I'm still trying to navigate. I have started a Columbia Hockey Alumni organization, which I'm looking to kind of build on from there. Have some ideas, but there's still a couple things I want to think about and work through. I would like to be involved with the team in some capacity in the future, but I also think the skills and the opportunities that you have being an undergraduate student running the club is unparalleled, and I think it taught me a lot in my life that I was able to carry over like this past summer working. So I think like after Columbia, I'd like to stay involved with the team in some capacity, maybe more on the alumni side of things and see where that goes. And then just boring, like work in finance, play men's league. I run a men's league team right now, so maybe I'll grow that one a bit. But I just want to enjoy my life as much as I can and get out in the workforce and probably sounds silly, but see if I can make the world or make my community just a more positive and better place in the world.
Definitely, man. And I mean, you're still going to be playing in the SHL, right?
Of course, yeah, best league in the world, right?
Best league in the world.
Yeah. Shout out to DS Films. He's amazing.
I keep telling Paul he's got to come down. I'll put him on the bench for the Heat Daddies, but
yeah,
I wouldn't mind running point. But what team do you play on in the SHL?
Oh, Heartbreak Kids.
Oh,
don't tell Joe Slavin I forgot the name of the team for a second. Yeah, play on the Heartbreak Kids. Had Sonny Milano come out to a couple games, which was pretty cool. Fun playing with him, obviously. But, yeah, we'll see what happens, Would love to go back. Love those guys there. And the SHL is just so much fun to play in.
Oh, yeah. Paul and I were chatting last week, and he's like, is it kind of weird that, like, the SHL is like the NHL and like you play in it? I guess kind of.
No, like I was talking on the point of like, typically it's like people's careers are like an arc, like you play in juniors, you play in college, and then like you come back down to earth, and it's like, but like your men's league is playing against people in the NHL. Like that's not really like coming down. Like to a lot of people, that's still like riding high.
Yeah, I don't know how. I guess I don't even know if it's allowed. Like from an NHL perspective, it's like, do I want my guys playing in like this men's league that like in the middle of Long Island where there's fights going down and refs are screaming and it's getting physical? I don't know, but it's so much fun like playing against like Shane Pinto and Coronado and a bunch of other stud players.
Yeah, I told Paul this story a couple weeks ago. I was lining up for a face-off one time against Pinto, and I'm wearing all New Jersey Rockets gear, and he's in all his Senators gear. And he looks up, he's like, real organization right there. And I'm like, I'm looking back, I'm like, compared to the Senators? Like, what do you mean?
Yeah, no, I think you get it. Like, just grateful to play against those guys and like be on the same ice with them, and it's just such a cool, rare experience. I don't really know anybody else that's having that.
Yeah, it's awesome that those guys still come back. Like you get to a certain point, you get to a certain level. It's like they don't have to return to the island.
Yes and no. I think Mark Sandback Cup.
Yep.
I think that's just become like a pinnacle of bragging rights over the years, where like I feel like they just have to come back now.
Yeah,
And
no,
prove
it definitely
that
has.
cup is theirs, because it goes back each year.
It definitely has become a little bit of like a bragging rights thing for sure. It's like, when are you gonna let the little guys get a chance? I forget who it was. We were playing against one of the games this summer, and I'm talking to Ducky, Robert Mastromone, who
Yeah.
Paul. I don't know if you know Robert Mastromone, but he plays in the AHL, and it's kind
The
of a tight
Marlies?
game. He was with the Marlies. I think he's with the Checkers now.
Okay.
But yeah, kind of a tight game, and we get a penalty called on us late, and I'm like, dude, come on, we're just a couple local D3 guys just trying to have some fun in the summer. Like what the hell? Like, let's play hockey, dude.
Yeah, it gets
Like
competitive. For
this
sure.
guy's in the AHL ripping it up. Like, I played at SNU. We got Motter who's killing it in the Fed, but like, come on, man. But no, great league, great being with the boys all summer, and
Yeah.
like, I mean, to Paul's point, it's kind of cool getting to kind of keep having that challenge, even though the career's over.
Yeah.
All right, Paul, I saw you.
No, I was just gonna say. I mean, now like nearing the end of your career, is there like a little like thumping going on? Do you hear that, Travis?
I do.
Maybe that was Wally. Who knows? But anyway,
Yeah, I don't know.
but nearing the end of your career, you look back. Like, what advice do you have for the younger generation? And like, I mean more towards like not the kids that are DMing you on Instagram coming out of juniors, but the kids like who are still playing in their local hockey leagues, maybe haven't even tried out travel yet, or that demographic.
Yeah. I would say don't be afraid to pivot and embrace change. As we touched on earlier, every player dreams of going pro, and for most of us, life happens and kind of just takes a different turn. And I wouldn't think of it as a failure, right? I would kind of just think of it as a new chapter, and the skills that you learn by just being a hockey player in a good team, they go way beyond the ice, right? Like teamwork, leadership, discipline, hard work, handling adversity. And I would say like to lean into those because they'll take you far no matter what you do. And something that I'm working with as well is remembering why I started, right? Like keeping the joy of the game alive, even if it's in men's league or, like you said, just being part of the hockey community. It's the greatest sport out there. So that's something I would pass along.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's perfect advice, and I think, just kind of bouncing off of that, change isn't always bad.
No.
Sometimes it can be looked at as a little scary, a little bad, but I think sometimes we got to change to experience, as you said, that growth, and I think all of the skills that you listed off there, I think you've exemplified through our conversation today. I mean, I think you exemplify it day to day and through our many conversations that we've had. And I think the most important thing to realize is that we might not make it to the show, but we all have a chance to leave an impact, leave a legacy, leave something behind where we can say, hey, this is in a better spot than it was when I first got here, and I had a role in that. And I think that's, especially being almost 30 now, I look at it and it's like, I think that's what's most important, is being able to say, I made an impact on an individual or a group or my community in a positive way.
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, do you want to wrap it up, Travis? Do you think that we've covered all the bases we need to cover?
I think so, man. I mean, Brandon, do you have anything else that you'd like to add today?
Um,
Any
yeah,
shout
maybe
out?
just maybe just one thing because I coming into this, I want to make sure I do right by everyone,
For
and
sure.
can't say how grateful I am to my teammates, current and former, their families, my own family, mom, dad, Jen. Thank you guys for everything. Like the coaches that I've had throughout my life, the alumni, the whole Columbia faculty that have done so much for me and given me so many opportunities on and off the ice. Like, it's just very humbling. And I never thought when I came here that so many of these things would happen. And I feel like the luckiest guy out there just because of the community we have here, the people here. I hate losing, but, um, you know, the guys know that I really love them and care about them. And I'm excited for this year. I think we have the team to do it. And God willing, in the near future, we can have a chat about what it feels like to be a national champion.
I know Paul and I would absolutely love that conversation. Definitely hope it happens. Hope we get to do that in the future, like you said, man. Continued success to you and the team. I have no doubt that you guys are going to do very well. You're going to have a great season, but also you and your group have very bright futures ahead of you in the game and outside of the game, in all the different paths that you all pursue. And I definitely think, as you've mentioned many times, the culture that has been built at Columbia is certainly a special one. And I think for anyone listening out there that might be interested in Columbia, this isn't me selling them, but it's definitely me, lighting that fire a little bit. Like, you guys definitely have a great group over there, and it's definitely something that would be special to be a part of. Definitely as an outsider looking in, I see that for sure. So continue to do what you're doing there. Continue to build that up. And again, I know Paul and I are definitely looking forward to watching more Columbia hockey this season.
Yeah, I want to get myself one of those jerseys. I love the New York. Oh, it's so clean.
So New York was actually our NYCAC jersey. Now they say Columbia on them.
Oh yeah, I thought.
Yeah.
I think did you guys wear the New York ones at all last year?
We may have for like a game or two. I actually got them next to me, but
We'll throw that on Paul while he's working the camera.
Oh yeah. It's so
pretty
clean.
cool. Yeah, I mean the jersey's got a lot. We've had a lot of military veterans, right? So tribute to them with the flag on there.
Oh yeah.
On our main library called Butler, we have like a ton of philosophers on there. So like ingrained. I'm not sure if you can see it.
Oh yeah.
Oh wow.
But,
That's awesome.
The names. We got our logo here. And then little tribute to the independence season on the bottom. We got that beautiful NYCHC logo.
That's awesome.
So, I really appreciate you guys having me on. It's been a blast. I guess shout out to the guy who really changed my life, to he and his family, Rashad Nandin. Graduated 2 years ago. Unbelievable guy. Helped recruit me here. Taught me everything I know about hockey. And just such a good human being to get to know. And so they've just done so many good things for my family and I. So really grateful for them. And special shout out to him.
Unbelievable. Brandon, thank you so much for the time, man. Please, everybody, make sure you follow Brandon on social media. Follow Columbia Hockey on social media. They do a great job with their content. Follow us on social media, LI Sports Network. Subscribe on YouTube so you can catch all of Columbia Hockey's home games. They've got a home game tomorrow night. Oh, we're filming this on Thursday night, so I'm saying tomorrow night, Friday night. So this will be posted. You'll see it. Columbia Rutgers on LISN. You can catch it live. Farmingdale Hockey, all the college hockey you want, all the high school hockey you want, all on our YouTube channel. Please make sure you subscribe there. And, of course, you can catch Rinks and Realities on YouTube and Spotify. So, On behalf of Brandon, Paul Trantini, I'm Travis Quigley. Thank you all so much for joining us for another episode of Rinks and Realities, powered by the LI Sports Network.
My stomach, man, was
I'm sure you felt
banged up. I woke up this morning, and like the second I opened my eyes, I was like, "Ooh."